Over the past 25 years, we've seen Triple H transform the idea of a WWE wrestler. Not only is he one of the most successful performers of all time in the ring, but he has also proven his mettle outside it with his excellent management ability. And now that the Hunter has decided to hang up his wrestling boots, let's look back at some of the more obscure things about his career. First up, Triple H was almost called something completely different. If you've been a wrestling fan for over the past 2 decades, then you probably know that the name Triple H is an abbreviated form of Hunter Hearst Helmsley. This was the name that he chose for his debut in the WWF way back in the day. But did you know he was almost called something else entirely? During his early wrestling days in the IWF, Triple H performed under the name Terrorizing. Get it? Terrorizing? Terrorizing? Pretty cool stuff, no? But that's not all. When he made the switch to WCW in 1994, he then chose the persona of a French-Canadian aristocrat called Jean-Paul Levesque, which is a play on his actual name, Paul Michael Levesque. Sounds pretty fancy, right? However, we know him as Triple H today because of his first WWF name, which almost wasn't Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Talking on Chris Jericho's show, the King of Kings revealed that the Wrestling Federation almost called him Reginald Dubois Helmsley to give him an American identity. Now, we don't know about you, but RDH just doesn't have the same ring to it as Triple H does. Luckily though, he managed to fight back and retain his desired name. Next, he was supposed to be the 1996 King of the Ring winner. The 1996 King of the Ring will arguably go down as one of the most iconic moments in WWE history. After all, this is where Stone Cold Steve Austin won and gave his infamous 316 speech, which propelled him into stardom. However, it was actually Triple H who was supposed to win the King of the Ring, not Stone Cold. So what happened there? Well, it all started when Kevin Nash and Scott Hall left the WWE for WCW during Monday Night Wars. Triple H, who was a newbie at the time, was in a backstage group with these two called The Clay. Before they left, however, both Nash and Hall decided that the group should get together one last time during their final appearance on WWE. So all three of them came out during their last match and had a group hug together. Now, back then, and a WWE star mingling with them was not a great outlook for the company. So when Triple H was caught on tape with the two WCW stars, he was bound to get punished. And since Vince couldn't really go after Nash and Hall, since they already left, the Hunter had to face his wrath, which meant losing a shot at King of the Ring. You got to wonder though, if Triple H won the King of the Ring match instead of Stone Cold, how different the world of WWE would look right now. And Triple H is not the chief operating officer of WWE. Over the past decade, Triple H has fully transitioned from his wrestling career into an executive management role in the WWE. However, when the WWE said that he's the chief operating officer of the company, they were kinda lying. Of course, being married to Boss Man's daughter Stephanie McMahon has propelled Triple H into a pretty big position in the WWE, but it's not quite as high as the position of the COO. In fact, looking at the official website, we're not sure if there's a chief operating officer in the company at all. As for Triple H, he started his management career as an executive senior advisor and was later promoted to executive vice president of talent and live events in 2011. He then got an additional promotion 2 years later and is now the executive vice president of talent, live events, and creative. This position kinda makes sense too, since other wrestlers like Roman Reigns have claimed in interviews that Triple H helped them rise through the ranks to get to WWE and regularly attended lower league wrestling matches to scout for talent. Up next, he was super into bodybuilding from a young age. There's no arguing the fact that Triple H has had one of the best physiques in the wrestling business for decades. During his early days of wrestling, he had the strength and physique of a bodybuilder, and even now at 52, his body puts any wrestler of his era to shame. However, there's a good reason for this. You see, where many wrestlers start to lift weights when they choose this career, the Hunter was always into bodybuilding. Starting at the tender age of 14, he always wanted to be jacked and regularly took part in local bodybuilding competitions as well. In fact, he was actually crowned the Teenage Mr. New Hampshire in 1988. Of course, when something plays such a significant part in your life, you want to spread the word to others too. So to encourage others to follow the same path that he did, the Hunter also wrote and published his own book. Now we've seen plenty of wrestlers publish books about their own careers and inside stories, but Triple H's book was all about bodybuilding, called Making the Game: Triple H's Approach to a Better Body. The book is essentially an instruction manual for people looking to hone their physique and become like the WWE legend. Next up, Triple H managed a gym when he was young. Triple H's love for bodybuilding isn't only limited to his own physique though. He was also into helping others out with their bodybuilding regimens. In the Thy Kingdom Come WWE documentary about his life, it's noted that the Game managed a gym in his younger years. Presumably, this was during the era when he was also competing for bodybuilding titles. However, there's a lesser known fact. Did you know that Triple H actually got into wrestling because of his gym management gig? No, seriously. While he was working at the gym, he became friends with an ex-WWE star, Ted Arcidi, who worked out at the same gym. And it was Ted who asked Killer Kowalski to train Triple H and get him into the wrestling business. Next, the Game has a pretty decent acting career. We've seen tons of wrestlers make the switch from wrestling to acting. While most of them star in pretty obscure roles, some turn into big Hollywood stars like The Rock and John Cena. And even though Triple H isn't really known for his acting talent, did you know he had a pretty okay acting career? The Game has starred in multiple TV shows and movies. One of his most notable roles, however, is in the final movie of the original Blade trilogy, where he plays the vampire Jarko Grimwood. He has also starred in many WWE productions like The Chaperone, in which he plays the role of an ex-con ready to make things right with his neglected daughter. And of course, he has also voiced an animated version of himself in the popular Adult Swim show Robot Chicken. Not too shabby, huh? And Triple H runs his own charity. Wrestling stars, despite their physiques and aggression in the ring, can actually be pretty wholesome softies in reality. And being role models for younger children, many of them do tons of charity work. For instance, John Cena is well known for all of his work with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. But did you know that Triple H also has a charity of his own? It all started following the tragic death of an 8-year-old superfan, Connor McCallick, who was diagnosed with a rare tumor affecting his brain and spinal cord. However, even in a short life, Connor went on to carve his name in the WWE history books. One of his biggest wishes was to meet his wrestling idol, Daniel Bryan, and his wish came true when he walked down the ramp with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30, smacked Triple H with a deadly right hook, and pinned him to have a 100% win record in the WWE. Sadly, Connor died later that month, and that's when Triple H and his wife Stephanie decided to launch a charity in his honor, called Connor's Cure. The charity has raised millions of dollars, with the game being its COO, and it continues to help others like Connor at the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. Next, he's the most hated wrestler ever. Triple H will always be one of the best to ever step in the ring, but his ability to turn heel and make the crowd hate him is perhaps even more impressive. In fact, people love to hate him so much that he's won the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Award for Most Hated Wrestler 5 times, which is more than any other wrestler in the magazine's 40-year history. Not only that, but he's also won PWI's Most Hated Wrestler of the Decade in 2010. But you know what makes him one of the greatest? He also scooped up the Best Wrestler of the Decade award on the same night. And this kind of explains his iconic wrestling career in a nutshell as well. Even though people hate him at times, they still rooted for him, which is the mark of a truly incredible athlete. That's a wrap for this video. What are some of your favorite tidbits about Triple H's remarkable wrestling career? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one!